Jonathan Stong,
Yes,
my
sir.
friend.
How are you, Ed?
I'm doing well. Hey, where are we, brother?
We're here in Las Vegas.
We're live in Las Vegas at the WPMA Show.
That's exciting.
Season 5, Episode 2.
Outrageous. I feel like we just did Season 5, Episode 1 not too long
I
ago.
think we just did.
We're already here at Season 5, Episode 2. This is nuts.
Hey, what's nuts is they let us come back and do this for the 5th time.
I don't know.
For
I don't
a
even
5th
have a
season.
badge to get in here. I just walked in, act like I own the place.
For those of you that don't know, I'm Ed Kammerer and my good friend Jonathan Stong. Strong.
Yep,
He is strong.
I am.
Jonathan Stong.
Sir. And we are...
Together we are affectionately known as the
Pod-troleum
Pod-troleum Guys.
Guys.
Sorry, we went to the Def Leppard concert, so my brain's still
Dude,
a little foggy from
I
last
know
night.
we talked about it, but let's go again. Let's go. Let's get rocked.
Hey man, how good did those 70-year-old guys sound?
Oh my God.
It's like 1987 all over again. So, Season 5,
Yes, sir.
Episode 2, we brought in a special guest. I thought we'd talk about fiberglass
Perfect.
and how fiberglass has really come a long way in our industry, and you see it everywhere now. You know, the transitions from steel or other types of materials, now fiberglass. It's a great material for a lot of things that we do.
That's right.
So we have our in-house fiberglass expert, Mr. Elliot Gladden,
Welcome, Elliot.
Thanks, guys.
Who
Good to see you,
is-
buddy.
Thank you.
recently been promoted as our senior manager for Fiberlight and Composites here in North America. So no better guy to talk about fiberglass than Mr. Elliot.
I
Love
appreciate it, guys.
We appreciate you.
Yeah.
And like Ed was saying, most of the products that we manufacture out of glass are a direct replacement for steel for a lot of reasons. One is for corrosion resistivity.
Yeah.
Also because it has a proven track record with fuel, with permeation. And again, whether it's a manhole, like you were saying, Ed, or a sump, or an entry fitting, we manufacture it. And
we do
you're
it all.
in charge of that.
Yeah, we do it all different processes.
Yes, I mean, you look at the transitions, like
Yeah.
you said, I think the first big transition was steel tanks to fiberglass tanks.
That's right.
Steel pipe to fiberglass pipe, and then
Yep.
we transitioned to flexible pipes. And then certainly, manhole covers, steel to composite. But we also see, the composites being used in other things, and we'll kind of talk about that. But let's kind of talk about the fiberglass process itself, Elliot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways you can make fiberglass parts, whether it's a sump, whether it's a manhole cover, those types of things. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about the different processes to make a fiberglass part?
Yeah. So the way fiberglass can be made is several different varieties. Kind of think back into kind of older times. Kind of look at boat building, where it came from. Look at kind of early days of composites when automotive and the Corvette. That's something that's that technology has been around for a long time. Look at aerospace. Look at wind and energy. There's composites all around us. But as you're saying, for the petroleum industry, replacing steel, replacing metal, and then also underground, looking at polyethylene and looking at something more robust that has a little bit more rigidity, a little bit more strength.
Yep.
That's where fiberglass comes in and is going to be the best alternative for a station, for an owner, for anyone that wants strength and longevity of a system that is not going to deteriorate, and it's going to hold up over time. So what we do at OPW, we do a few different processes, but thinking back to kind of boat building side of things, open mold chop spray up. It's kind of the dirty, nitty gritty, old way of doing things. There's a lot of environmental factors that go into that. We do a little bit of that in OPW. It's there are times when it makes sense to do an open mold chop spray up operation. We like to do it at OPW when there's not going to be any penetrations into any containment area. Some of the processes that we do at OPW, looking kind of the old school way of doing things. Chop, open mold, spray up.
Yep.
It's kind of a dirty process, but there's a time and a place for every one of these composite manufacturing processes. And for chop spray up, it's for simple parts, things that aren't going to have an entry fitting going into them, something that's not going to need a smooth wall or a consistent wall thickness. Really, a lot of times we're looking at skirts when we're talking about that with our products. It's something that we want to have some rigidity to it, but it's not super important to have it be consistent thickness and smooth all the time.
All right, so manhole skirts, top hats where you're not putting penetrations,
Yeah,
filament
yeah.
wound. Also, we don't do any
We
filament
don't,
wound.
we don't do any
That
filament wound.
was something that fiberglass tank sumps and tanks, and they still may do some filament wound or some mandrel wrap
I think
in
they do.
tanks.
Yeah.
But
Tanks.
tank
Yeah.
sumps at one time, Elliot, you may be familiar with this, used to be filament wound because people had a perception and it was just a perception really that it was structurally more sound.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, the inconsistency of a filament wound, kind of like a hand layup or a chop gun, that inconsistency caused for waste. It also caused for tougher installs.
Yeah.
So like you're saying, a sump that has a Corvette finish,
Yeah,
something smooth
yeah.
on the inside, smooth on the way out. What processes do we do that incorporate that aspect?
Yeah, so within OPW, those higher end processes, we're talking about VAC RTM or light RTM. We're using smooth, rigid tools that are then giving that smooth inner and outer wall. It's going to be consistent every time. So the way that works is you've got a mold, you've got a male and a female. You lay your fiberglass inside. You're then pumping with little pressure into the mold, and you're pulling a vacuum through it to then saturate the glass to make sure that it's completely saturated. With that, you get a little bit higher of a resin content. Not to get into the weeds of things, but so you get a little bit, I say. It's strong, but it's more resin compared to some of our other operations.
So that's the RTM resin
That's the RTM
transfer molding.
That is right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And hence the VAC.
Vacuum resin transfer molding.
What about light RTM?
Light RTM. So light RTM is similar to kind of VAC RTM, but it's really just looking at a low pressure and pushing that resin through the mold, and then with a light vacuum on the other side if needed to evacuate any air.
And that's pretty much used for manhole covers and things like that.
Yes.
But you get a consistency with that, right? A
You
level
do.
of quality that's
you get a very consistent level of quality. You also can go higher glass ratios with that.
Okay.
Higher glass ratios is meaning you're going to have stronger parts. The other thing that we do within OPW and Fiberlight is we have a lot of different operations within those covers that I'm talking about, light RTM or RTM. Some of our cover designs are meant to have an I-beam structure that gives you very low deflection, very high strength, to the point in some of those covers we've gone up to really high load ratings, H40 load ratings, an ASHTO load rating, or in some special instances, not necessarily in retail fueling, but in others that we will talk about, go up to FAA load ratings, up to E900 or F900 EN load ratings, which is 900 kilonewtons. We're talking almost
you land a jumbo jet on one of those.
500,000 pounds, type of thing is what we can do with some of our covers and the technology that we have.
Well,
which is
I love
amazing.
that technology, especially what we incorporate, like you're saying, in the Fiberlight offering. I love that beam design, that dissipation of weight and energy.
Yeah.
I love the fact that because it is so structurally sound, you can achieve that watertight application with that gasket and that gland. I love the what is it called, soffitted or riveted frame system, which also fiberglass, more structural integrity, no degradation, no corrosion. I think that's really important, and we're seeing a lot of markets that have high water tables looking towards those products.
And then on the other side of that, kind of a more value option, but still just as strong, is the Conquistador Matador style of cover that OPW offers, where it's a full glass laminate. And when those things, I've done a lot of testing in my life here at OPW, and those things, whenever they go off and you break it, it's like a bomb going off in the lab.
And when you're saying a full sheet, it's a full sheet versus like chopped pieces.
Think of the table we have here, and this being full fiberglass with resin. We're talking an inch thick of fiberglass, loading it in the center, hitting 80 to 100,000 pounds. All this potential energy in this thing has a little bit more deflection because it doesn't have that I-beam structure to it. But you get this potential energy into it, and then as soon as you hit that critical load, it just pow. But you get to loads up to 80 and 100,000 pounds when you're talking about ultimate loads. It's pretty wild.
It is.
Yeah. So kind of the new thing.
One more process, right?
Yeah, one more process. The new thing that we're really looking at is kind of back to that Corvette style. This has really been done a lot in automotive, but SMC, sheet molding compound, is kind of the direction that OPW is looking to go for really consistent parts that have very quick throughput. With that, we're able to offer a value option to our customers and with the same strength characteristics is what we do, with some of those other processes.
Right on.
And it's something that's been vetted out for 60 plus years, like I said, in the automotive industry. And now we're starting to explore it in the petroleum industry.
And we were the first in this industry to incorporate SMC within containment, correct?
Yeah, yes, for sure. Yeah, we've got a few, products that use SMC between our TSE, our E-Series, and a DSE. But then there's other products that people might not even know that OPW offers that are SMC.
Sure.
We've got our 104C composite lid. That is SMC.
Spill bucket base.
Spill bucket bases.
bases,
Yeah,
yeah.
we've got a composite spill bucket base. That's SMC. So it's been around with OPW for actually a while now.
It's just we kind of incorporate into a sump.
Yeah,
like a big fiberglass part.
Big fiberglass part, which is very unusual. That's the thing with SMC that is actually a little bit different that we're doing here. A lot of these SMC parts are smaller parts that are meant to replace metal components.
Yeah.
Just like we were talking about with normal fiberglass. But we are the first to look at large scale. And when we're talking about large scale, we're talking about presses that are 3 stories high, 2 stories in the ground, and 5,000 tons of pressure to push these things out.
And not to mention the amount of capital in order to invest in this.
Yeah. It's a
Really-
lot.
That's kind of one of the downsides of the SMC.
Yeah, it is. The infrastructure needed to get into that market is it can be a little challenging. With you have to beef up your concrete pad underneath because you've got extremely heavy tools.
Sure.
You've got a large press that is a lot of money. But we've been able to really utilize our product development and our customers to say this is something that's needed. This is something that our customers want. So we're investing in it. We know that there's a market for it, and we benefit from it. They benefit from it, and they're getting consistent parts quickly. We were able to keep these parts that are SMC stocked on the shelf all the time. DSEs, TSEs, because the process is so fast, you can pump out a part in about 5 minutes, thereabouts.
Versus how long?
Traditional, probably somewhere between 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a huge
7 or 8 times faster.
Yeah. The efficiency gains on SMC is really where you make your bread.
And then the consistency of the quality.
Consistency and the quality, exactly.
Perfect.
It's all one homogeneous material.
Yep.
It's put together. It's a mix of a resin and a glass all together. They put it into a press and they call it a charge.
Mm-hmm.
Apply that really large load to it with a lot of heat, and pop comes out our DSE and our TSE. Perfect every time.
That's great.
And
Perfect part every time.
Yeah.
Just like a Corvette fender.
Yeah, there you go.
Shining up. And
60% of the time, it works every time.
That's right. Yeah.
I like it.
It better work on it.
Well, I mean, if you look at, some of us have been in this industry a long time, right?
Yeah.
Just in general, the contingency of people that are here. And I know that some of us here at this table have worked on fiberglass over the years when it was a hand layup and then there was a gel coat on the inside to mismatch it, to make up any ambiguity within the quality of the product. And that was something that people were looking for as a visual. With these parts, these are consistent all the way. Everywhere you need it to be, at a turn, at an angle, on the sump wall, everywhere, it's going to have that same effect everywhere out throughout the whole product.
And I was lucky enough to come to OPW right when we started to expand our fiberglass offering. And luckily enough, I was able to come in and be a part of that design kind of group that then took it to kind of where we are today, which is great. And what we've seen throughout the industry is that fiberglass is going crazy, not just at OPW, but throughout.
And a large majority, without getting into specifics, what are we about, a 70-30 on fiberglass to polyethylene components now?
No, it's closer to probably still 50-50,
okay.
but fiberglass is really gaining traction, especially with those E-Series that I was talking about with the SMC, because of the efficiency gains, we were able to offer a solution to our customers for a price point that is similar to poly. And at that point, you should always go with fiberglass. If you can get a fiberglass part and a polyethylene part or a metal part for the same price, it is always recommended
for the composite
to go with the composite.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
agree with you.
So you're right, Jonathan. It's kind of been fun to see the transition. OPW, we're 134 years. We're an old school foundry and machine shop. And then, we evolved into, the assembly and the extrusion of thermoplastic pipes. And now we're truly becoming a composite company as well. A world-class fiberglass producing, composite producing,
Sure.
company down there in Smithfield, North Carolina.
Well, and you were saying it earlier, the big push has been information, and information comes from data centers.
Well, I think what we'll do, we'll finish up kind of talking about, fiberglass in the petroleum industry, because I think that's going to be a whole nother episode.
Okay.
We'll talk about applications where we've taken this technology with these fiberglass covers, like Elliot said, that we're able to make extremely strong but extremely light, and where we've seen the replacement of steel manhole covers at the retail fueling forecourt, we're now seeing the transition from steel trench covers in different types of trench applications, utility applications, also going to composite, and that's a whole nother business I think we'll talk about in another episode.
I'm looking forward
I
to
think
that.
that warrants a whole episode. But hey,
Make
man,
sure I'm
Elliot,
part of that.
what's that?
Make sure I'm part of that. I'm interested.
Okay, I'll keep you in mind. But hey, Elliot, thanks for stopping
Yeah,
by.
thanks, guys.
When we were starting thinking of topics, and we wanted to talk about fiberglass and how fiberglass has really become an important part of our industry. You're the first guy I thought of, so appreciate you stopping by. I know you've been talking to customers all day and showing off these lovely fiberglass products we have here in the booth at the WPMA Show. We'll be featuring these fiberglass products throughout the year at other shows and probably other podcast episodes. So thanks for stopping by and hanging out with the Pod-troleum Guys.
Appreciate you.
Yeah,
very much.
thanks, guys.
Thank you, brother.
Until next time, Jonathan, I don't know what's left. We saw Death Leopard last night. I guess we're going to see Spandex Nation tonight.
We're doing something exciting, and I'm really looking forward to it. So maybe we'll cut another episode from a show later on tonight.
There we go.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
All right, hey, folks, thanks for tuning in to another exciting episode of the Fueling Station. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Thanks.